This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 659 for June 8th, 2020. A little light mutiny.
Just a demotion.
It's a pirate's life for me.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpear.
Hello.
and the Nymph.
Yeah, I still can't get over what we said in pre-show, so...
Yeah,
just that last
getting
minute.
real weird this week. Yeah.
Yep.
Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Patrons got the Season 1, Episode 3 of Critical Misses this past week for Fast and the Furious Presents Tokyo Drift.
Which it's not a presents, it's Fast and the Furious : Tokyo Drift.
That's right. Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw.
We just lose Boston.
I think so.
What's up?
Yay.
What's that? You lost me?
Oh, wait, there he is.
There we go. Now
Okay. Skype. Hooray.
Man, I was about to start talking the show up, but...
Yeah. So go listen to that. You know, Tokyo Drift is probably one of the more divisive films, but you can go listen to whether or not Moon and I enjoyed it. Definitely won't spoil it here. I think that's it. So, Moon, why don't we start with you? What you've been playing this past week?
What I've been playing is thank you, patrons. Thank you for your support. As we talk about, I'm sure Boston mentioned it, but it does help cover the cost of the show,
yes,
which Boston pays for out of pocket.
Yeah.
He's got to do freelance gigs because, you know, he has to pay them bills.
Yeah, that's right. Jesus. Heaven help me.
All of the bills.
Yeah.
But yes, let's start with what I've been playing. I've been playing some Dead by Daylight. I almost said Dead by Friday. Because this week, Dead by Daylight is actually a Dead by Friday day. Because we did play, me, Justin, Rob, hi guys. We had a couple of good rounds. Honestly, it was just chilling out. A lot of talking about the current situation.
Sure.
Things like that.
Is the new killer out?
Not yet.
Okay,
Which I don't think we've mentioned that on the show yet.
No,
I don't think we have.
For Dead by Daylight is Pyramid Head.
Right, which is just like...
All people.
Oh, okay. That's what I wasn't expected, but that's a good pick.
I'm literally not kidding when I say we have spent many hours discussing who would be good killers in Dead by Daylight. And not a single time did we ever think of video game killers. It was always movie killers.
Yeah.
Right.
It was never video game people. It's like, okay, that's cool. He seems like he's really OP. He, from what I guess, I didn't watch the stream, Rob filled me in a little bit. He moves a little bit slower, but he does drag that sword around all the time. He drags that sword.
9-foot-long sword.
And it leaves
cool.
a trail that causes status effects.
Oh, no. That's cool.
Yes. So Pyramid Head should be very interesting when he arrives. I can't get the image of him with without the traffic cone replacing the pyramid. I just can't get that out of my head.
Right.
Maybe that'll be DLC.
Who knows? Hopefully. Safety Head. But, you know, it's going to be interesting. But I didn't know what to play a lot of time this week. It's like, 5 minutes this, 5 minutes that, can't make my mind up, blah, blah, blah. You'll see that in the variety of games I played for 10 minutes this week.
Right.
So I played a little bit as the killer, mostly just to try and get some notches down on that base game 1000 achievements list, which I now have 5 left.
Oh, nice.
I've still got like 30 achievements left to get in the game, but 5 from the base game. And included within that was electrocute 500 people as the Doctor. And 500 people as the Doctor is a bit of a grindy one, but I don't care. I'm just going to go around and electrocute people for funsies because
Give him the old zip, zap, zip.
Yes. Doing a little bit of killer play, grinding out those sweet, sweet Chivos. Don't write that down.
I'm not writing it down.
My hands aren't by my tablet.
Hand check, yeah. Hands are up.
Yeah. But no, it's fun. The Doctor, definitely his rework seems to make him a little bit more difficult to play, because he was always super easy to play as and super easy to win with. And his rework is definitely, in some aspects, it's made him stronger. In other aspects, he's a lot weaker. But now he has a huge AoE attack where he literally like generates a static field and like clicks his hands together and everybody screams. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
But, you know, Dead by Daylight, it's fun. You see me online, you hit me up, let's play a couple of rounds. I don't mind. A game I forgot to talk about last week, but I will talk about it this week, was Moving Out. I have played a lot of this game over the past couple of days. Thank you, Odd Achievement Numbers, for making me play a game until I complete it.
Right.
That's the only reason I do it, I swear. But no, I beat Moving Out. I got the full 1000 in it. I corrected my gamer score back to a 5 and a 0 because I'm pedantic about that stuff. I can't help it.
You're amongst friends.
Wired.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun. It's dumb. It's real dumb. I don't like the fact that it's only couch co-op, but it's still a stupid fun game to play. Picking up and throwing boxes. Let's dunk a couch in a swimming pool, etc., etc.
College.
Yes, college. I didn't go to your version of college, so I wouldn't know.
I didn't either.
No, you sat in a room and played MVC all the time and Dead or Alive. I know.
And drinking, don't forget.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about the drinking. I know all about the true story of Boston in college.
That's right. Yeah.
But yes, I played Moving Out a lot. It was fun, mindless entertainment, which right now I needed.
Yep.
I needed to get that whiteboard eraser and just rub it all over my brain so I'm not thinking about anything for a while.
Right.
It's like headphone in, podcast on, throwing boxes into a van from a moving plane. Why not?
Right.
There is a moving plane level in that game, and it's kind of crazy. I bought a whole bunch of Apex, treasure packs, battle pass, blah, 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 the usual stuff. The game is still really, really, really fun. Like, minus the past 2 days when literally we played yesterday. We played 5 rounds, and in total I did 112 damage over 5 rounds. Boy. Which, to knock somebody down, you have to do 100 damage. And I didn't do that over 5 rounds.
Right.
So clearly the pros were out in force.
Yeah.
And it was really, really annoying. But still fun in the same way Apex is. Let's see. 2 Point Hospital, Boston. I'm assuming you've been playing this, so let's have a chit chat.
Yeah, boy, Jesus Christ.
Should I go first because I'm the one who's so far behind here?
Yeah, please do. Oh God, let's save the suffering for the second part.
So I did the Rich Folk Hospital. I got that finally completed. I got the 5 million hospital value.
Yeah.
Which I did by firing a bunch of staff. I was like 4.7 million. I was like, I'm just going to fire a bunch of people.
Yep, get that ROI up. Yep.
And it worked. I got my 5 million. I got my 3 stars. I almost broke the game because it froze at one point for like 5 minutes.
I put so much stuff because, you know, the secret for getting... All right, so let me see if I can explain this for listeners. There's a prestige level per room in the hospital, and the higher the prestige of the level of the room goes, it goes up to 5, the happier that employees are that are working in that room. Basically, they get a bonus because it's a nice room to work in.
Yeah. It's the difference between working in a closet and then working in an office with a pool table and
windows.
And windows, yes.
Yeah. So to get my hospital's value up, I'm just throwing those gold medal awards in like every room to get it to level 5.
1,000%.
Yep. And about halfway through my hospital, the guy that he's like your advisor for the game, where it's like, hey, you have a lot of janitors that need a lot of training. Maybe you should build a training room. The guy pops up and says, hey, you've put too much stuff in your hospital. This will slow the game down. I'm like, oh boy. Okay, that's probably not a real warning. It 100% was. Like,
oh, wow.
By the time I 3-starred that hospital, it was like running through molasses. It's like, cool, that hospital is, I'm never going to go there again. Good luck, everyone.
Jeez, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got the 5 million, I got the stupid missions done, I got my 3 stars in that hospital, and it continues to be great.
Yeah.
Like, that hospital just continues to be really, really fun. that game, I should say, not that hospital. I hate that hospital in particular. But now I've moved on. I unlocked like 6 new hospitals. Like, what happened? It's like,
I think
you've given me like 2.
I
and
think
now I've got 6.
That's when you unlock the snow DLC at the same time. So you've got a couple over here, and then you've got a couple up in the northern area.
Yeah, I've got like the nuclear power plant one. I've got the whatever's going to go on there. I don't know. But I did I just started. I haven't done anything in it yet, but I did just start the one it's not haunted. That's later. The one that is got a really bad rep. It's got
Overlook Hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just started that one. It's like, I don't know who these staff are. I want to fire them all and start afresh.
Right, because it starts you with... Yeah.
Yes. I want to lay it out the way I want it laid out. Not the way you want me to lay it out, you stupid hospital.
Their rooms are so weird. They just build rooms and like, here's a 5x6 bathroom with like one little part sticking out at the end. It's like, why would you do that? Why would anyone do that?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Really weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got up to that one, and so far, I mean, it's absolutely fine. I'm having fun.
Yep.
The humor still gets me all of the time, and again, it's a great stick a headphone in and play, and listen to something else.
Do you have a research hospital, by the way?
I had one that was the one when you unlocked the research hospital. Mm-hmm. But now I think it's probably going to be the rich person's hospital.
Yeah.
Because I've got like 1.7 million in cash in there.
Yeah.
And 2 researchers, which both have research 4 on them, and a big research room. So
my recommendation is things you research unlock in every hospital.
They go across everything. It's foundation-wide, not hospital-wide.
Yes, foundation-wide, that's right. So what I did is I took that hospital and I just let it run for a while because it was mostly self-sufficient. And I got 6 researchers up to research 5, stuck them all. They can all only work in research. Stuck them all in there with a whole bunch of supercomputers. And then anytime any hospital is like, hey, to treat this, we need to go research this thing. And like, it's funny because they make it sound like this big thing. It's like, all right, I'm going to back out to the map, go to my research hospital. It takes literally 20 seconds to get through 1,000 research points. Back over to the other hospital. It's like, oh, look, I researched it. Whoa, so crazy. Oh, wow. So crazy. Let's just build it. So.
Okay. I'm probably going to have to do that with the rich people hospital because that's the 100% is self-sufficient.
Yep.
It runs itself at this point. I ended up, even after I got the 3rd star on that, I went for the no deaths in that hospital. For 3 consecutive years, I went for no deaths. Because,
did you get it?
No.
Yeah.
Every year, 1 death.
Oh, no.
And the worst thing is, I'm sitting there in the patients list, and anybody who's not getting diagnosed quick enough and is running low on health, I'm kicking them out of the hospital.
Yep, send them home.
Get out of here, future ghost, because I don't want you being a future ghost in my hospital. Thank you very much. And I kicked them all out, and the hospital was still making money hand over fist.
Right.
But one person would make a bad treatment, and it was always the stupid deluxe clinic with the stupid light bulb heads.
See, for me, it's the injection room.
Yeah, I've got a nurse with treatment 3 or treatment 4 on just that room, and it's already at level 3, the machine and everything. So it's like chance of cure 220%. Like,
okay, I'll take it.
Keep that up, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm using that as my research place, and you're not wrong. I'm probably going to jump back into that. And then use that as I need to research something. Do I? Save it quick. Go back over here. Load it.
Yeah, and then you can
just build another 3 research rooms.
Yeah, well, and you can like research level 1, 2, and 3 back to back really fast, and then like just jump back over to the other one. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, interesting. But yes, definitely good piece of advice there. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But yes, I like 2 Point Hospital. Boston, tell me about 2 Point Hospital.
God, this game. So I've completed a bunch of I've completed a bunch of other stuff. I finally managed to get to, I think I did 2 stars on the non-snowy NHS hospital. Oh boy, the 3rd star on that one is really, really tough, and I bankrupted on that one getting to 3 stars. I got really close, and I just couldn't cross over the finish line. So I started the once I did that, I unlocked the summer one, which we'll get to, the summer DLC, which I'll get to in a minute. But I did another run at the castle up in the snowy one, which is the final snowy level, and I got almost done with 3 stars. And this perfect storm happened. I had this perfectly laid out hospital. Everything was going super great. Like, and this one I was actually mixing GP's offices and diagnosis offices together to try and keep everything all in the same area. And then on the other side of the castle was all my treatment stuff. Like, it was going so smoothly. And I had like $2 million. And then my reputation kept going up because I was healing enough people successfully. And it got above 75%, and then everything went wrong. Because basically everyone started coming to my hospital because my reputation was high enough, but they overloaded my hospital and I couldn't build stuff fast enough. Like, you can always tell when your hospital isn't running smoothly because you're running at a deficit every month. And you know there's some bottleneck somewhere. My problem was I didn't catch the bottleneck fast enough, and I was losing $250,000 a month because I just had so much staff. Because basically, once you move from 2 stars to trying to obtain 3 stars in that hospital, you have to treat every illness. And usually you're getting enough people that some of those rooms you have to run 2 of just to keep everything moving smoothly. I crashed and burned so hard on that. I even tried, like, all right, I need to get people really upset. I need to get all these people out of my hospital. I'm going to raise my prices up 100%. Like, I want to make everybody super pissed. That did not work.
Oh, wow.
Not only were they not stopping, they also weren't paying. It's like, ooh, that really bit me. Okay. So
yeah,
I've got to
on the rich people hospital that I had, I'm not kidding when I say I had 4 buildings and 3 of them were diagnosis buildings and 1 was a treatment building because 100% they bottlenecked at my original diagnosis place. And then I had to build a second diagnosis building with the same rooms, the same layout, the same everything. And then it split the load, share the load between the 2. And then that was still bottlenecking. So then I had to do the same thing again and build a 3rd diagnosis building, which was the same buildings, the same rooms, the same layouts. Everything was the same. And I had to slowly but surely spread it out among all of that. I ended up with, I think, 11 GP's offices spread out over 3 rooms, 3 buildings.
Sounds about right. Yeah, at my peak in the castle, I had 15 GP's offices. And like 3 or 4 of each one of the diagnosis rooms, including Mega Scanner and X-Ray. Like, there's just so many people, I had to spread them out. So it's like, I know that I had the right plan. It's just I got to a point where everything was running smoothly. And when I got past 2 stars, I didn't continue to slowly ramp up to keep that bottleneck managed. And it 100% got away from me. So, yeah. So I've started on the summer DLC, which is pretty interesting because in all the winter stuff, you basically have to run a bunch of heaters and in your hospital, make sure everybody's comfortable and warm. This is the opposite. The hospital starts really hot and you're running a bunch of aircon units. But the thing that's frustrating about that is the furnaces and all the heaters and everything in the cold ones don't require any maintenance. So you can just dump them everywhere until the whole thing's orange or yellow. Aircon units do need maintenance. So it's an increased
strain on the
cost
janitorial.
for your maintenance staff. So it's like you have to manage all that stuff and manage the cost of it, and then trying to stop them from catching fire. So it's like, okay, now I've got one more thing to manage here, which to anyone that's not playing it sounds like it's this massive thing, but it's a lot of like, if you would start a hospital with 2 janitors, I'm going to start the hospital with 5. And I'm going to ramp up. I open another building, I hire 2 more instead of just 1 more. So it's not the worst thing. It's just sort of like, all right, you're giving me more things to juggle here, which is
another
good.
plate to spin. Yeah,
exactly. Like I have to spin 1 more plate, which is good because it's more stuff to do. But the new illness that I unlocked is cubism, and it looks like someone's walking around like as a cubist painting. And then you basically like break apart all their pieces into a machine, and it like molds a human out of clay again, and they happily walk off. So it's just every DLC they just continue to be like, all right, I don't know what this thing is going to be, but I bet it's going to be real dumb, and it is, and it's really great.
Yeah, I just got another illness at the hospital, and I haven't seen anything to do with it yet, and I'm looking forward to actually seeing what exactly it's going to involve.
I think that's barking mad, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones.
Which is the fairy convention walking into the hospital, if I remember correctly.
It's really good. But I'm still really. It sounds like I'm frustrated with 2 Point Hospital, but a lot of it is like playing it for a couple of hours and thinking like, okay, I see what my problem was. I didn't do X, Y, and Z. I wasn't running things the best way I could for this specific map, or like you're talking about with your diagnosis buildings. It's a lot of like, I'm going to build, this is the first building you start with on your hospital plot. I'm going to start, the right-hand path is, or the left-hand path is going to be all my diagnosis buildings. I'm going to set those aside for now. I'm going to start doing my treatment all on the left-hand side, and like kind of orienting it the right way to begin with. So it's not like, all right, pause the hospital. I'm going to pick up and move all these rooms across all these buildings. You sort of prevent doing that. But 2 Point Hospital is really great. It's really, really good.
It really is. It's a good game. It's a great game.
It's on Game Pass.
Game Pass. Game Pass Pass.
That's right.
Official Game Pass Pass. You done with 2 Point?
Yeah. I mean, for the show,
for the show, yes, not for playing it, because we've still got a long way to go. Me significantly further than
I only have one other hard trophy to get, and that's the shoot the 10 Mono Beasts or Moon Beasts or whatever without missing.
Mono Beasts, yes.
Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to get that one. Yeah.
Okay, my final game this week was Streets of Rage 4. Speaking of Game Pass games.
Oh, yeah. I got to get back to this.
Yeah. I love Streets of Rage 4. I genuinely love it. I may have beat it twice this week with 2 different characters.
Nice.
I'm playing it again now with a third. I beat it with... I can't remember her name.
Cherry?
Guitar girl. Yes, Cherry.
Yeah.
I beat it with her. And she's interesting, but not my favorite character. Like, her movement is interesting, her combat style is interesting. I'm a traditionalist, so I like my Streets of Rage 1 and 2 style, where it's I know the moves and I can pull them off, and that's good.
Just give me the punches and kicks, please.
Yes, the punches, the kicks, the little fake Shairuken move that one of them does, that's fine by me.
Right.
Now I'm playing as Floyd.
Oh, the last guy?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Floyd is the Metal Arms dude.
Oh, right.
Yes. So, Floyd is a juggernaut, essentially.
Okay.
Like, he does so much damage. It is unbelievable how hard he hits. But he moves like a snail.
Right.
He can't jump. And his specials are okay. They're nothing special. No pun intended there.
Heyo.
His throws are where things get really amusing.
Okay.
Because when you grab somebody to throw them, he just picks them up with one hand and keeps walking around.
That's great.
And then you can toss him like a paper ball on the other side of the room. And then it gets even better because if you pick up a second person, he just goes smash and smashes them both together.
That's perfect. That's exactly what you want that dude to do.
He does a full-on Hulk smash and just goes and smashes them into each other.
That's great.
And it is fantastic.
Man.
He's okay so far. I've still got the Streets of Rage 1 guy left to do after this guy. But honestly, I'm just playing through it, beating the game in easy mode on story mode before I go for a whole bunch of the other achievements and stuff. But Streets of Rage 4 continues to be great. It continues to be fantastic. It is a great sounding game, a great playing game, and if you're a Streets of Rage fanboy like I am, then it's really, really good. Also, such a long time since that last game came out.
Yeah.
That it's like, I have hope now. I have hope for Skate 4. I have hope for Alpha Protocol 2.
Right.
I have hope for these games.
And it's nice that there's been so many surprises in 2020 with games like Streets of Rage 4, where it's like, oh, yeah, this came out. All right, sure. Oh, it's actually really good. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's one of those weird instances where I love the fact that it's honoring the first games without, making it too different, but also making it different enough to where it actually feels new. It's not just the same thing. Like, I genuinely enjoy that about it. It's a fun game. It's stupid. It's great. It's fun. Go play it. It's Streets of Rage. And again, it's on Game Pass, so you can play it for free if you have Game Pass. Quote unquote free.
Right. Game Pass free.
Yes. Other than that, I've played a whole bunch of Vampire the Masquerade, which discussions for that will come up later.
Yeah.
Boston, I need to put the peer pressure on you at this point. Have you played any Vampire yet?
Oh, yeah, I'm still it's the same place I was. It's just a really bad week this week.
Do I need to text you every day and say, Boston, play Vampire?
No, because I think you know the answer to it.
It's yes, I will play Vampire.
Yes.
Of course I will. I will go and play that game. But yes, that's all I've been playing. Over to you, Nimp.
All right, so I too have been dipping in and out of games all week, so I've kind of been all over the place. Starting out with Bloodborne, first thing after the last podcast. I did manage to complete the Forbidden Forest and that boss. That was fun. Right after that, I beat the Dark Beast Parl, which is part of the optional area that you get sent to when you die from the Bagman. Went in there, wiped the floor with him, no issue. I was like, all right, cool, let's go into the next area I can find. The next area was Bergenruth, I think is how you say that. And that was a difficulty spike. The trash mobs that you fight are not difficult, but if they hit you pretty hard, but they're fast. And they will chase you significantly further than anything else has chased me before.
Oh, no.
Yeah, usually if you run away a good couple of feet, things will stop following you to a point. These, I ran halfway across the map, and I still had two of these things chasing me. So I finally just turned around and beat them up. It was mostly, I was running away because there was an ambush that I had triggered, and there was a big thing that was coming after me. So I was running away from the big thing and not the little things. So yeah. Took care of those trash mobs, went and fought the big thing, realized that I am not doing anywhere near as much damage as I should be right now, but still managed to take it out with no issues. Unlocked a shortcut back to the lantern, which was a good thing because I walked into a building, and this is so far as I can tell, a 2-story building, maybe taller, and there is a NPC hunter up top. These NPC hunters are enemies that are meant to be difficult, basically your mid-bosses. And I've run into, I think this is the third one, maybe the fourth one so far. And this one just one-shots me off the bat.
Oh, jeez.
It casts some sort of range magic that homes in on you, and I managed to dodge it, but whatever it hits, it does a blast, and that blast caught me as I was rolling away from it, and that just killed me. Flat out.
Oh, jeez.
Like, all right, cool. So I'm running up. Yeah, I'm running up this weird spiral staircase to try to get to them. So I'm hoping that if I close the distance, they're not going to do that magic attack, and then I can start to figure out how to beat this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, because as soon as I get close to them, they are using the cane sword in this game, and which is a cane that is a sword, but its trick is that it turns into a sword whip.
Oh, okay.
And this thing stun locked me to the point that I couldn't do anything and died again.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm guessing I didn't need to be here yet.
Right.
I talked to my buddy who has beaten the game because he's been giving me just like general point, like the group that plays Souls games that I keep telling them that I'm not interested in playing them. We give each other hints.
Mm-hmm.
So not to spoil anything or anything like that. It's just general. Hey, did you look here? And then it's for you to figure out.
There might be another path.
Yeah. So we give very vague things that can be helpful or can be very, very detrimental to your health. But I had asked them if I should be in this area yet. And he's like, no. You need to go look for an item that you missed somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
All right, cool. So I go back 45 minutes later, find a new area, and then I pick up an item, and then I text him back. And I'm like, is this the thing I'm supposed to be looking for? Because this looks like it's it. He's like, yeah, that's the screw job you're looking for. Like,
oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, that gives me all kinds of great fuzzy feelings about this.
Right.
So I found the item that I needed, and it's basically an invitation to go to, what is it, the Forsaken Castle Canehurst, which is another optional area, apparently. But you can't just pick up this item and then just go there. What I eventually found out was that you have to go to a specific area, and then this horse-drawn carriage with these dead-looking horses comes up, and you have to enter the carriage, and then it will take you to this place. And there's this whole cinematic thing with it, and it's really awesome. But it brings you to basically the ice area of Bloodborne.
Ooh, cool.
And I got as far as the lantern. It's like, all right, I've met my 2 objectives, which was to beat Parl and to finish the Forbidden Woods. So I'm done for the week.
Right.
Because basically, I've got goals set for myself, and I'm trying to complete at least 2 areas a week. Because right now I've beaten 7 bosses. There's 17 of them altogether, and that includes main bosses and optional bosses. And I think I've only beaten like 3 or 4 main bosses, and everything else are all optional bosses that I've completed.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. It's fun. It's just, I can't take that tension for very long right now.
Right.
So, moved on from that. I went and played some Greedfall. I found my drunken brother, who was being held in a warehouse somewhere. I actually stumbled across it by accident while exploring. I ended up in an area. I don't even know how I got there originally. And all of a sudden I hear shouting from a window and a cutscene happens. And they're like, oh, hey, that's your brother. I'm like, oh, I was kind of looking for him, but not really, but whatever.
Right.
So
you were exploring and you accidentally stumbled into the place he was hammered.
Yeah. At this point in the game, I'd already stealthed into an area. And I'd actually stealthed into 2 areas, and I was kind of tired of stealthing. And so they had just brought up, it's like, hey, you can either stealth through the back door, or you can just walk through the front door. Like, I'm really feeling the bloodlust right now. I just want to go in and kill everything.
Right.
So I just walked to the front door. A cutscene happens. I had dialogue. I choose an option. And by choosing that option, I managed to not kill everybody, which was not my intent. But instead scared them, and they gave me the key and said, yeah, no, go in there and go get your brother. We will leave you alone. It's like, really wanted those experience points, though.
Right.
Whatever. So, grabbed my brother. That was the last, I think that was like the second to last mission I needed. Finished up everything in that city. Ready to go onto the ship so that I can go to the island so the game can start. And as you're going to the ship, all of a sudden this massive boss jumps out of a different ship, and you have to fight it by yourself with no companions.
Oh, boy.
And that was actually kind of fun. And it felt, in a weird way, it felt kind of Souls-ish. Just because you have the ability to duck, dive, dodge, all that fun stuff, attack. You're always trying to circle around the bigger enemies. That way they can't really get a beat on you and they can't hit you very well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I did. You come at it with the hammer so that you can bust up its armor, and then you take out your sword and you just start stabbing it until it dies. And that was a lot of fun. And then the game started. Yeah. The game itself
late title card. Here we go.
Yeah. Basically what happened at that point was it's a 4-month trip by boat to get to this island that the game takes place on. So you get your title card, and then, a lot more cutscenes happen. And then it turns out that the captain of your ship has been, I guess, kicked off his ship.
I believe the term is mutiny.
Yeah, a little light mutiny.
Because it wasn't... So he wasn't forcefully removed. It was basically the admiral had told him, hey, we are giving your ship to a different captain. You currently do not have a ship, so why don't you guard the person that you brought with you to this island for a bit until we figure out what we're going to do with you.
He was he was like voluntold to go somewhere else.
Yeah, which he is not happy about, because this race basically is they're either on a ship or it's a disgrace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he is not happy to be with you. He is not unhappy about you or helping you. He is just unhappy that he is on land.
Right.
And I really like this captain because he is an a-hole, and it makes me happy.
There you go.
But as you continue on into this town, I started picking up all these other quests that were there, and then I managed to get into the main building that I was supposed to be going to continue on the main quest. And as I'm walking into this building, cutscene happens, and you're introduced to another character who mistakes you as a native of that island for some reason. And so they start talking to you in a foreign language, which in the subtitles you don't get a translation for, which is great. I love it when games do that.
Yeah.
And your character has no clue what's going on. So come to find out, this person wants to talk to the queen or the leader or whatever, who happens to be your drunk brother that you brought. So you tell the guards that you will bring this person, because they do speak English too, the native does. They just started talking to you in their native language because they thought you were a native. So once you find out that they wanted to talk to the leader, you tell the guards, okay, yeah, let them in. I will bring them to my brother. You have ensuing quest logs happening, and then you get another mission for like all your companions at this point, which I've got 3 of them. I've got Kurt the captain, the a-hole captain, and then this native. So
interesting.
The native wants you to help because I guess their tribes, her tribe and another tribe on the island, are about to go to war, and she wants you to help mitigate this to prevent the war. All right, cool. But they drop this weird story thing that doesn't have a place, because you've literally, from the point that you meet this character to the point you get this quest, is like 5, maybe 10 minutes. And she brings up that she wants you to help her bring her father, or find her father. All right, cool. But then your character says, oh, I never knew that you had a father. You've never brought him up. To which I say out loud, you've met this person for 5 minutes. When would have this been brought up?
Do you know their last name? Probably not.
No, I can't even tell you this character's first name. She's not that new. So, so there's some weird story disconnect here every once in a while. But other than that, the game's still fun. I still have issues with the momentum. I really wish they would take it out, because it's really a pain to try to walk to small doors or to pick up items or anything like that. Because like I said last time, you're running past it, you turn around, you're trying to run back to it, and you're running past it again, and it's just you going back and forth trying to angle the camera so the prompt will come up so you can hit A and pick up your 2 gold.
Ugh.
Not worth the effort, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's there.
Right, it's the principle.
Yeah. So, really enjoying the game so far. A lot of backstabbing has been happening so far, which is why I love these games, because I can just play the best part of me, which is being an a-hole. So, moving on to that, I played more of Prelude to the Fallen, the game that I can't say, Utawarerumono.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Every time. Love this series. Cannot say the name of it.
Well, the first word of the game is only like 13 characters long, so what's so hard about that?
Yeah, exactly. I have completed my 9th battle. I am in the Two Screw Stronghold, which for anyone who knows the story, you know where that's at. I'm not going to spoil any of it because the story gets real spoilery. Wow. It comes full of
really
spoilers real fast. Yeah. I started thinking. See, I told you. So I have Benoit and Kuduru as my two characters now, which doesn't mean anything to you guys. But like I said, anyone who knows anything about the story will know why that's important and where
like
I am.
You're in the thick of it now.
Yeah. I have become the Olo of the region, which is awesome. And I have the emissary from the tribe that mitigates between all countries and nations and all that fun stuff.
Okay.
So it's starting to pick up. I have like 9 characters right now out of the 20 some odd that I'm going to get. And I'm 10 hours into this so far. So yeah, it's really great. This is one of those games where I play with my headset because I love the music. I love the atmosphere it puts you in. And I just put that thing on auto read and just sit there and stare at a screen until I need to kill something.
Right. Just hanging out, reading a book.
It's an awesome game. I love just sitting there watching it, listening to it. It's great.
Yeah.
The battle system, which I didn't talk about a whole lot last time because I wasn't entirely sure how much it would differ from Mask of Deception and Mask of Truth. They've pretty much kept it all the same.
Oh, good.
They've added... It feels like they've tweaked and changed a couple things. The Zen gauge that you get basically allows your characters to do extra attacks or a final attack when you fill the gauge up. It feels like they've changed it so that you're not earning as much Zen zeal as you should be compared to the other two. Like the other two, it felt like you were constantly boosting that thing, no problem. You mostly get it from attacking things and being attacked. And then you get the little quick time event during attacks where if you hit the ring just right, you'll get an extra 2 zeal. So it'll help fill that gauge up a little bit more.
Oh, cool.
The thing that I noticed that they changed was that it used to be when you would get these button prompts or these quick time events where it's basically, hit X as soon as the ring touches the dot, shrinks to the dot or whatever, fill this gauge up or however you want to think about it. It used to be that it would add extra damage to the attack. Now it doesn't. It just seems to be giving you extra zeal, which is fine, whatever. They have also added a co-op attack for your characters. So basically you will see on the tiles as you're moving everything, because it's a tactical RPG when you actually get to beat stuff. On the tiles, you will see like these little painted X's on the ground. And if you go into those areas, that character can then do a co-op attack, which is that character and another character will attack something. And it's basically a final attack where you get this big cutscene and they do their thing. And there's usually a status debuff or buff, depending on who's doing it, that adds to it. So they've added that to the system. But yeah, everything else is pretty much the same. If you've played the other two and you like that, you will definitely like this one. So
and if you haven't played any of the series, this is the first game in the series, right? Like this would be the first the place to start.
I mean, honestly, you can start with this, or you can do what I did and just accidentally stumble into the second season of everything.
Right.
There's a real big plot twist in both what I'm calling season 1 and season 2. And it's awesome, and you can stumble upon it either going chronologically or just starting right in the middle and moving from there, because while it's a continuation of the story, the 2 games that came out in the last 2 years are their own story. It's taking place in the same world, just a slightly different area of that world.
Okay.
And this is taking place in another area. I mean, they're not that different. I mean, these 2 areas fight a war in the other 2 games. So they're not that far apart, but it's just different place, slightly different time.
Yeah.
But it's really great. You can do either one, but you're going to get the same plot twist, which was really awesome and not something I was expecting the first time I had played these or watched the anime. So it's really cool. Check it out. The game I can't name.
The unnamed game.
Yeah. I also played a lot of Xenoblade Chronicles, the definitive edition on the Switch this week. This is a great game. It looks great. They since they're using the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 engine, everything looks great.
It looks so good.
Mm-hmm. I don't think they've changed anything else besides updating the graphics.
They've said that there's like some quality of life improvements but from what I've seen, if they did any, they're not really that big.
Yeah, it's been a really long time since I've played the original, so I don't remember a whole lot about the systems at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But you still get, like, when you complete a quest, it automatically completes right then and there, unless you need to talk to somebody. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a big one.
Yeah. The systems for the quests go back and forth between being absolutely helpful to absolutely useless.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go through and grab, like, all the quests at once, and there are a ton of them. I am 13 hours into this, and I have 95 quests.
Yep,
I've counted them before we started this podcast. I haven't completed 2 of them so far. I've completed the rest of them.
That is the reason why I stopped playing this game, is because I got so burnt out doing side quests, because you always have this hope of like, all right, picked up 5 side quests, finish them all, I'm going to go turn them back in, and everyone is like, oh, okay, cool, now I have 2 more things for you to do. It's like, oh, cool, now I just have 10 quests now.
There's a lot of that, and there's a lot of, oh, this is the first time in this area, and this person has an exclamation mark. Let me get that quest. You get that quest. Yep. Oh, wait, they still have an exclamation mark. You talk to them 10 more times and get 10 more quests, and then you complete 5 of those, and they give you 10 more quests.
Right, yeah. Just like, why, God, why?
That's a thing. Yeah. But, much like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, if you grab all these quests, you can complete them as you continue on just exploring.
Yeah.
The thing that's a little different from the second game is that they do, even if you don't have a quest selected that you're following, if like an item, like a random item gathering point is in the world that has an item that you're looking for, it will mark that with like a blue exclamation point, letting you know, hey,
oh, cool,
grab this. This will, this is something that you need to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
So it keeps track of that even if you're not actually tracking a quest, which is really helpful. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to be running around exploring the map, opening up areas so that you can get your quick step, fast travel points anyway. So you might as well, get the item points, kill the enemies that you need to kill. By the time you get done exploring, you'll have most of those quests finished anyway, and you'll probably have one that you'll actually have to fast travel back to give the person the item.
Right.
The thing that kind of sucks is that they do a lot of quests that are tied to actual time frames and weather conditions.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Which, at this point, I'm basically, if I get a quest and I can't figure out what I need to do, I just pull up the wiki and they've got it in there. Yep. It's like, hey, this is the character. They're here from 0600 to 1829. All right, do your time change, and then it just lets you go. And they're right there, and I can just turn in the quest. The quest system actually will tell you as well, if you have a quest and you can't figure out, where you need to go, they'll tell you if that person's active or not in the world at that point in time.
Oh, cool.
So it'll say, it'll let you know, hey, you need to go back to this person, and everything it'll look normal. Or if they're not active at that point of time, it'll just say on the bottom right of the quest log, inactive.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
All right, cool. So I need to find the time that they're awake or out in the world, so that way I can turn this on.
You're right.
The biggest issue was that I had a quest where I had to defeat an enemy that only came out during a thunderstorm.
Right.
And it rains a lot in this area, but you don't get thunderstorms very often. And this enemy only pops out in this one little island in this lake. So I stood there for probably about a good half hour, just changing the time, waiting for it to be a thunderstorm, and it finally popped, and I was able to kill this thing. But that really sucked. I wish they would let you change weather conditions in this game.
Death Stranding. Wait.
But yeah, so that's it for the quests. They're there. You can do them if you want to. I kind of went gung-ho with it again. And they finally do a thing that I wish all JRPGs would do, is it lets you know that this is a time-sensitive quest.
Yes, thank you.
So it will pop up with a little stopwatch next to the quest explanation, letting you know that, hey, probably the next story beat that you do, this quest will be expired.
Right. Go do this one.
Exactly. So you can get away with just grabbing all of them, ignoring the quests, and then just doing the ones with the stopwatch, and eventually you'll probably complete the other ones as you're just playing the game. So
that's great.
That's really cool. Another cool thing that I don't exactly remember if this was in the game before is that it has a costume system, which doesn't affect anything with the battle or anything, but basically what it is that whenever you equip armor, weapons, whatever onto a character, your character changes how they look based on whatever you have them equipped with, and they show up like that with the cutscenes and everything. So if you put on this really dorky helmet on your character and you absolutely do not like the way it looks, any armor that you've picked up in the game, you can go into the costume section and you can choose to either show a helmet or you can change it to any of the other equipment that you've ever had at one point in time. And it will keep that design, and you can just keep swapping out equipment however you want and keep whatever design you want your character to look.
Oh, that's great.
So
similar
that's really
to
cool.
That stuff they introduced in the MMOs a while ago, where it's basically like, here's your closet. Pick for what you want it to look like, but it will do what the gear you have equipped does.
Yeah, you're transmogging or mogrifying or whatever they called it. But that's pretty much it. Because there have been some armor pieces where it's just this giant helmet on a dude whose head is way too small for that helmet. It's like, this looks stupid. I need to change this. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The battle system's exactly the same. You still have, the 9 icons on the bottom of your screen.
Yeah.
Which can suck because a lot of those are focused on, hey, this is a side, or if you choose an attack, it will do more damage than your normal attack. But it does even more damage if it's like a side attack and you actually hit the enemy from the side. It will do more damage, and it will usually add a buff or a debuff or whatever.
Right.
So it's kind of a pain when you have enemies that are constantly moving around. You're juggling aggro. That way your character can move around, because if the enemy is aggroed on you, they will constantly face you. So you can't get to their side or their back or whatever. So you have to juggle the aggro so somebody else has it, so that way you can freely move around and do your attacks. Meanwhile, this enemy is still moving around, so it'll pop up with an icon, which I don't remember it doing originally, but it will pop up with an icon next to that attack letting you know, hey, you can do this and you're in the right area to do that attack. It's like this little exclamation point that pops up. So you can do that, and you know that you're getting your bonus attacks, but then as you're doing that, the thing just happens to turn around, and so now you're hitting it from the back, and it's a real pain in the butt. It's not a good system. I don't like it, but it works. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun with the game. I don't remember a lot, which is good, because like I said, I was having issues when they started linking the end of 2 to this one, and they started dropping some stuff, and I'm like, that sounds familiar, but I can't place any of this. So it's slowly coming back to me. Last game that I played this week was really itching for just an old school game, so I played and completed Ys 1 and 2.
Oh, nice.
Again, for like maybe the 150th time.
Right.
So not much to say about it. It's a great game. Not a lot of people will probably like it right now because it's an old NES game, and all the ports are just okay. But it's got the awesome bumper system, which if you don't know, it's basically just your character on a screen and you run into the enemy and your character attacks it. It is awesome. Yep. I love that battle system. Yeah. So that's all I've been playing this week.
So I haven't been talking about Destiny 2 for a while because Destiny 2 has been in a not great place.
Tell me all about this wonderful thing that some people still seem to get annoyed at this week.
Yeah, this whole season has been rough. The amount of content has been fairly thin. You can tell that Bungie, from a development standpoint, is sort of stretched thin as they're trying to kind of ramp back
next
up.
gen as well.
Yeah, and like they've already promised that Destiny 2 will work on next gen, and they're part of their team is working on their other IP that they're developing. I forget the code name for that. It's not their Destiny thing. And they seem to be ramping up here for a potential fall expansion, like they usually do, because next season starts on Tuesday, which uncommonly we know nothing about, not even the name of the season. They're keeping it all under wraps because it seems like all of the stuff that Destiny has been building towards over the last 2 years is going to kind of start coming to fruition now, as we saw it here yesterday. So I've been talking about it because a lot of it is like, I'm doing my weekly stuff and I'm still enjoying it and no one else is. But this weekend, yesterday specifically, was Bungie's first live event. So if you're out there listening and you don't know what live events, think of Fortnite, like the Travis Scott thing, the Star Wars thing. A lot of Fortnite is the most successful game that has done this, where it's on this date at this time, be in the game, and a big event will happen. You sort of need to be there when it's happening to see it. Fortnite does the smart thing, number one, of communicating the schedule well in advance, which Destiny 2 unfortunately did not, and then having like replays of it later on down the road, which Destiny 2 will not be doing. I thought this was a really great event. It was basically throughout the entire season, we'd been powering up Rasputin, the Warmind thing. If you've ever played Destiny, you've probably run into him. He's been the focus of the last 2 seasons. You're powering him up so you can shoot down the Almighty, that giant ship at the end of the vanilla Destiny campaign, the one that's like about to blow up the sun. Basically, at the end of Destiny 2, you shut it down. At the beginning of the season, the Red Legion, the Cabal, are like, you know what? You have wiped almost all of us out. We have this one final gambit. We're going to crash this thing into the earth. It's like, and surely this has to work. Surely. And we've been working the whole season to kind of power up Rasputin to shoot this thing out of the sky. And Bungie did the smart thing by doing a live event, because typically anytime something like this happens where a season wraps up, the cutscene for it is in the game at the start of the season. Someone data mines it in about an hour and they say, hey, here's the ending of the season. There you go. It's just like, well, crap. Okay. I mean, I won't forget it for 3 months, because in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking like, how do we get to this point? So they said a couple of days ago, on Saturday, Rasputin's going to shoot down the Almighty, get to the tower, be in the tower at reset to see it. Okay, cool. I get there a little bit early. There's one of the coolest events in Destiny is all of these players sort of dotted, trying to get really great viewpoints, because over the last couple of weeks, the Almighty has been getting closer and closer to the planet. So as 10 o'clock reset time here in Pacific time got closer, in real time, the ship kept getting closer and closer and closer until it had eclipsed the sun. So like it significantly closer to the tower. The problem is, and I feel like they've already addressed this, but when you go and you experience one of these things in Fortnite, say, it's maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes at the most.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, the concert was probably the longest thing they did.
Yeah, and it's still a manageable thing where you have to be here at this time. You need to respect the player's time. If they can't just do it whenever, you sort of have to respect the player's time. This was an hour and a half long.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool. And Bungie has come out and said, like, look, we played it super safe with the timeline because we wanted to make sure that if people couldn't get to the tower, they were getting error codes, they were running into a queue for the game, we wanted to make sure they had plenty enough time to get in there and see the event, which I think is really great. But you need to communicate that enough where it's like, be in the tower at 10 for then a 90-minute show where this happens. You got to set those expectations. But at the end of the day, Rasputin shot that thing out of the sky. It looked super cool. The remains of it totally crashed into the planet, and a giant chunk of it actually broke off a part of the tower. And I think there's two really impressive things, engine-wise and engineering-wise, that happened. Number one, this event was synchronized across all servers for all players. So this was happening, and Destiny has historically been a very, very difficult engine to manipulate and manage. So I think that's impressive, and I think that's really promising for the future of Destiny. The other thing that I think is really interesting is the tower was damaged in real time. It didn't kick us to orbit and then send us back, and then it's like, look at this thing that happened to the tower. It's like, no, you turn around, and there's just a giant chunk of the tower missing now that you can just go down and explore. So I think there's a lot of cool stuff that happened. I think it was a really great event. It's just, and they have definitely heard the feedback, is just kind of like, it was a cool thing to cap off a really rough season, and we're all kind of waiting with bated breath for, basically, they have a live stream planned for Tuesday at 9 a.m., and then the new season starts at 10. So it's like they're waiting until the literal last moment to show us anything about the next couple of months, maybe the next year of Destiny. So we'll see. This was a real low point for Destiny 2, which unfortunately is kind of saying something. I can admit that as someone who really likes this game. But I'm hoping that the next season is better, because if it isn't, I don't really see a lot of people sticking around, because a lot of people are really frustrated at the state of the game, and I certainly don't blame them. But
yeah,
I'm still having a bunch of fun. I like Destiny a lot.
Of course you are.
That's all
It's
that
you.
matters.
That's right. I'm having fun. I decided to check back up on Risk of Rain 2, because I think the last time I played it, Moon, you and I played it co-op.
Yep, we played on stream a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a while, so I thought, well, they have this giant roadmap that I'm not paying attention to, and every once in a while my copy on PS4 will get a patch, so let's go in there and see. And I know the console versions are a little bit behind the PC version just because of how it goes. The newest thing in there is, they call them Prismatic Trials. They're daily runs. So they have put daily runs in the game. It's a set character, set loadout, and then set modifiers for the run. The modifier for the run that I did was the order of stages is randomized. So I started on like the 4th stage, which would probably be okay if I played Risk of Rain 2 ever, but that was considerably difficult.
I wonder why.
Yeah. I'm still not sure how to feel about Risk of Rain 2. I still think the game is a little too hard solo, but I don't have a lot of stuff unlocked, so I'm not sure how much of that is just the game is hard versus I don't have all the tools and I don't have all the characters to be more successful. So Risk of Rain 2 is still great. I mean, it's still, hey, you managed to make this thing work in 3D, and it's still fun. It's obviously very fun co-op. Moon and I had a blast doing that. But it still seems like development is going super well, and I will probably check on it this time in 2021. So tune in for that.
2021, my backside. It's more like 2025 the way we play.
That's fair. Yeah, that's more accurate. Yeah. Lastly, Minecraft Dungeons.
Yeah, I meant to start this week and then got distracted by other games and Warhammer.
Yeah.
Came to Games with Gold, so
I finally got stuff to say about this game.
okay.
So
other than spiddly diddlies being problematic.
Yeah. Number one, I think this game commits one of the few gaming mortal sins. This game has, it's not like Diablo or Path of Exile or anything like that, where you have kind of a hub and you have explorable areas around it. It very much is, here's a map, you're going to pick a level, and you're going to go from A to B. And it's not a direct line, but it's not an open world sort of thing. I think it is a gaming mortal sin for you to, on an A to B level structure, to have you fight a boss that has like a name and a big like multi-segmented health bar and everything.
No.
When you beat the boss and it says like, oh, go exit out the exit of the level, you cannot put enemies between the boss fight and the exit. You cannot do that. Because especially in a game where you have a set number of lives before you fail the stage. Like, imagine if they did that in Streets of Rage 4, where it's like, you beat the boss and you have like 5% of you have 5 pixels on your health bar left, and you still got to defeat 30 dudes to get to the exit. It's like, no, you can't do that.
Let me tell you about Dark Souls.
Right. Dark Souls is there to kick your teeth in. I don't think Minecraft Dungeons should.
That's different. You go into a Souls game knowing that you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of bad time, I don't really like Minecraft Dungeons.
I wasn't expecting.
I don't think it's designed very well because there are no character classes. It's not like when you start a character you pick, oh, I'm a mage or a hunter or a warrior or a thief, anything like that. You just start your character, and then I think they do it in a really smart way where you have 6 slots in your character. The top 3 are your melee weapon, your armor, and your ranged weapon. And then the bottom 3 are your artifacts. So those are essentially your skills if you had a class. Like, there are a bunch of artifacts that do soul stealing, like you're stealing souls from the enemies and then powering up something, whether it's your melee attack or another artifact. So if you wanted to play like a necromancer or a mage class, you could do that. If you wanted to put a bunch of pet things under there and just run a pet build, you could totally do that. I think that is to its bonus and its detriment because you don't have a skill tree. So you just have your character and you just have those 6 slots. You do level up, but I genuinely don't know what that does. Like, I think it makes higher level stuff show up in the world, but the feedback isn't necessarily there. So I'm at the end of the game, and the game really doesn't recommend that I go fight the final boss because it's like 2 power levels stronger than I am. But if I try to turn the difficulty down, it goes, whoa, that's underneath the recommended minimum. You can't just go fight this boss. It's like, well, then why do you have this difficulty scale if I only have like this small window of difficulty I can actually play in?
Yeah.
So it's clearly telling you, like most of these games, go back to some previous levels, grind out some better gear, do that stuff. But in the last couple of levels, there's such a weird difficulty spike where they start introducing enemies that have shields and spears or shields and like hammers and large swords that push you back when they hit you. But they attack you so quickly that they're just kind of like juggling you back and doing a ton of damage against you. So the obvious solution is use your ranged attack, but there's limited ranged ammo. So I feel like you're getting punished for 1, trying to use melee, or 2, trying to use ranged when you might run out of ranged ammo with no guaranteed way to get that ammo back. And I feel like part of it is they want you to play it co-op. And I'm sure that the majority of these issues would just disappear if I was playing a co-op, which is fine. And they're going to do cross-play pretty soon when the first DLC comes out, which is another separate issue. Is the first piece of $10 DLC is coming out real soon. I don't think I'm going to finish this game. And I think I'm going to uninstall it because I feel like not all of it comes together. Like, they have this formula, and you're just putting Minecraft into a Diablo-style game. And you just have to follow that formula. And I feel like between this difficulty spike and there not being enough feedback and there not being a skill tree, which I get, but apparently that is really important to me, I'm finding, it just kind of all doesn't come together in a way that I think makes it really satisfying. And again, if you probably had like 2 or 3 or 4 people playing together, I'm sure it's a blast and I'm sure it's really great. But I kind of wish that you could just blow through the simple difficulty and then get into these issues on the higher difficulties where I'd expect that stuff to happen. It's just a real bummer. And I was kind of, I feel like I wasn't hoping, I didn't go in there with a lot of expectations, but I feel like it kind of let me down, which is
a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, which is really weird for a hack and slash Minecraft game where it seems like it should be a surefire hit, where it's like, yeah, just Minecraft and, make it more of a level structure. Don't make it as this open-ended sort of creative thing. Let's give some structure to it. And just I just don't think it was super successful, which is surprising and kind of a bummer. I'm curious to hear what you think of it, Moon, whenever you get around to it.
Yeah, it's already installed. I just need to start it, which is a problem for me.
And it's not super long. I can verify it's 9 levels, each, or 9 individual stages. Each one maybe the longest one takes maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes if you're really having trouble. So it's not a super long game, which I think is great for its intended audience, because I think the intended audience is kids and families, and you're not going to get into anything where it's like you're fighting God at the end and here's a pentagram on the floor and everybody's spouting blood. It's not all of a sudden the Binding of Isaac.
Stab me in the heart so that we may defeat God.
That's right. And I get it. I just sort of wish this game was a little bit better, because I don't think it all came together, and that kind of stinks.
That sucks.
Yeah, which means I'm going to end the segment on a real low note, because that's all I've been playing this week. So let's take a break. Let's talk releases for the week of June 8th, 2020. Project Warlock comes out PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. Staggered release throughout the week. I hadn't heard about this game until it came up in the releases list, and this game looks pretty cool. I've attached a trailer there for both of you guys in the show notes. This looks very much like an old build engine game where it's like that 2D first person shooter, like your character swaying side to side as you're attacking. Like it looks pretty cool. And unlike
is it a roguelike?
I don't believe so. I think it's just like a level based first person shooter. And I'm hoping that unlike other recently released build engine games, it's not run by monsters. So Project Warlock seems pretty cool. I meant to look up how much it is, and I didn't, but it's coming out on the 3 main platforms sort of throughout the week. Go check it out. Go check out the trailer. And Speaking of Ys games, Ys Memories of Celceta, I'm going to assume is how that's pronounced.
Yeah.
It comes out on the PS4. This came out on the Vita 7 years ago?
A long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, came out a real long time ago. It's out on PS4 now. So if you haven't picked that one up yet, it's here on PS4.
It's a really great game.
Oh, yeah?
They use the Ys 8 engine to up-res everything, so it looks good, and it is one of the better stories in the Ys Chronicles. So
nice. It's the NIMP seal of approval.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's move on to news stories. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning has been announced, which is one of the best/worst titles. It's another one.
THQ Nordic, thank you very much for continuing your rebranding of releases in a stupid way.
Yeah.
Number two.
Yes.
Why?
Why call it Re-Reckoning?
No, why release it?
Because my wife is hella excited for it to be re-released. That's why.
I would love to play this game. I would genuinely love to play this game right now. I am disheartened by the fact that this is an IP that was picked up on basically a bargain basement sale. Yeah. And none of the studio who didn't get their last two paychecks with the company are going to get any money from this. Let's face it, they're not.
Yeah, I don't know whatever happened, because I know that lawsuit was closed, and I don't remember what the eventual outcome of that was.
I don't think anything was ever released. I think everything was sealed.
Yeah, I think it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember. But anyway, Kingdoms of Amalur, they say it's remastered with stunning visuals and refined gameplay, which I'm not sure what that means, but maybe that just means they're going to smooth the edges. It's going to be Kingdoms of Amalur and all the DLC. Yeah. Coming out for $40 on PS4 and Xbox One. Rumored release date is August 18th, but THQ Nordic hasn't announced anything. So if you're like me and you played a bunch of Kingdoms of Amalur and made almost zero progress in it, now you can pick up the brand new version and probably do the same thing again, because that game is stupid big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to talk about a quest log.
Oh, God, yeah. I just, there's so much stuff. I played that thing for 50 or 60 hours, and I think I only got to the fourth area, and I was like, please, there's too much here. Please.
This was one of the few games that my wife went all in on the PS3, nice. And yeah, God, I don't know how she did it.
Well, now she can get the $120 collector's edition that comes with some statue, probably. Who knows? Yeah. Next news story here, sort of coming back to the EA smart delivery issue with Madden 2020. They have finally, because people complained enough, they finally did the right thing. You're going to be able to upgrade, use smart delivery for Madden 2020 from Xbox One to Series X until Madden 21 comes out. I feel like that's a fine compromise, as opposed to get in, blink and you'll miss it, and then whatever. I feel like that's fine enough, because after 21 comes out, you'll be able to get a copy of the previous one for $5. So
if physical stores still exist at that point, yes.
That's right. Yeah. So I feel like that's probably the best compromise. It would be the best option if they would just do it forever, but it with a yearly sports game, that probably doesn't matter that much at the end of the day.
No.
All right, let's move on to questions here, Kevin.
Hang on, because I'm a fanboy, and you missed the most important news all this
Elite
week.
Dangerous had a brand new trailer this week. You got legs.
Yes.
I like it. I watched that trailer and it was I've seen some stuff from the trailer and it's sort of oh no, this might be the thing that gets me in there. Oh no. walking around planets. Oh no.
I'm just saying, come on down.
It's like a better No Man's Sky. How dare you?
Early 2021.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Start now so we can get you some credits and get you a light and everything else.
That way you can buy those space legs.
That's right. Space legs don't come cheap. All right, let's move on to questions. Kevin F. sends us an email, says, is there something in gaming that you don't want to find out about because you know it would really bum you out? For me, it's meeting a video game developer. Kind of how people say you don't want to meet your heroes or movie stars because they could turn out to be a huge jerk. For me, it's kind of like that in the gaming world. I'm a black dude, and I'm a big fan of John Carmack. I think the man is brilliant and gifted. I love hearing him speak about technology. A lot of it goes over my head, but the passion he has for it is intoxicating. But I would hate to meet him and find out he was racist. That would absolutely crush me. So I hope he isn't. And if he is, I hope I would never know. What about you guys? Thanks for the show.
We can actually discuss this in pretty regular fact on this show. There has been years when we have done E3 where we have specifically not spoken about a game because of the beliefs of the lead developer or the lead of the studio behind it. This is a common issue for me because there is the whole phraseology I believe used is disassociate the art from the artists.
Right.
And it's your own. Everyone's has their own personal limit on this. How much are you able to look to one side for some things to appreciate an art? Because...
Right, like this guy says, oh, I really hate cats. I'm never gonna own a cat. It's like that's fine, but it's like I hate this minority group, and it's like that's not gonna work. That's not okay. For a good example of this is, I don't really want to say his name out loud, but I will to educate the people just on the off chance that they don't know. Orson Scott Card is a monster. Oh, God, he's the worst.
He is a legitimate monster who has written some of the best sci-fi stuff on the planet. Yeah. And he is a legitimate monster.
He's terrible.
Will not support anything he ever does because he is the human being monster. He is. I love Shadow Complex, and I am disappointed that his name is attached to that game because I didn't know it was until after I'd already bought it.
Right. Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like, this is really, oh no, that's him. Okay. Yeah.
And then you get things like Kevin Spacey is a great example.
Yes.
The man is an incredible actor. I don't care what you think of him personally. The man is a genius actor. He is taken performances and elevated them to a whole different level. And guess what? He's a monster. So I cannot enjoy his films the way I used to be able to. Right. Baby Driver is a lesser movie because he is in that movie.
Right.
And I love that movie.
If you want to look at the gaming space, Notch is obviously one of the biggest examples where it's like you helped create one of the biggest, most family-friendly video games out there in Minecraft, and then your Twitter feed shows that you are just a horrible person. It's just the views that you hold about certain types of people are just horrible. It's not even just the thing that frustrates me about so many people like this and so many people that had hopped on the Gamergate train, all those horrible people. Gamergate is terrible still. Comicsgate is terrible still. That is, we'll plant our flag saying that. It's not even a level of being misinformed. It's just this willful malice.
Ignorance.
Yeah. It's terrible. And there's been I think we had hoped that we'd see less of that over time, but we saw two more recent ones are Kingdom Come Deliverance and Ion Fury. It's just some of the lead people on those teams are saying and believing and supporting stuff where you're just oh, you can't do that anymore. Yeah. That's not okay.
But the biggest problem with this as well is it's all about tolerance. It is all about your own personal tolerance for that kind of stuff. I will still watch Baby Driver because I support everything else in that movie apart from Kevin Spacey. I love everything else in that movie is great. His part bothers me. And it's the same with games. It's what you want to... I didn't buy Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
And I didn't buy Borderlands 3, not because I don't want to play the game, which I genuinely do. Like, I love the Borderlands series. I've always loved them. But Randy Pitchford is horrific.
There's a lot going on there, yeah.
Like, the fact that there seems to be a new news story coming out about him every 2 or 3 weeks or so, it seems to never end.
Well, Moon, you and I have a very specific... This is where a lot of, I think, the genesis for you and I especially, because a lot of these games are sort of like, look, you're I'll call them alt-right, call them Nazis, whatever. You're terrible. You're getting mad at Wolfenstein 2 saying, kill Nazis. So that should tell you something about yourself.
Yeah, the id Software promotion every year at E3 is fantastic.
Yeah, but like one of the hardest ones that we've had to do was Binding of Isaac, when I think it was Kotaku started publishing stuff about Nicholas, the kind of developer and kind of publisher together of a lot of Ed McMillan's games, especially the Binding of Isaac, which prior to that we had problems with, like, can you please support a platform at any point? Like, just from a game perspective, it's
Switch was the most recent console and had the most up-to-date version of it. PlayStation 4 was 1 behind, and Xbox was like 3 behind at that point.
It was like 3 years behind. Like, it was excessively behind, and it was very frustrating. And then you find out that the lead of the lead one, at least one person of that studio, was horribly abusive to his employees, sort of across the board. So you start trying to reconcile, there's this person who's not directly in charge of the game. It's not like Ed McMillan is terrible. Thankfully, he's not. He seems like a very nice person.
Literally, as soon as he found out, he came out and said he was looking into it, and then 2 days later, he said that nothing he produces will have anything to do with Nicholas ever again.
Yeah, which is great. It would be a lot easier if, like, Ed McMillan is terrible. It's like, I won't support any of his games because it's usually like him and maybe 1 or 2 other people. But how do you, and the same question can be posed about Gearbox. How comfortable are you personally with, I don't want to support this thing because there's maybe 1 or 2 people that are bad, but the other people that work for the company are probably fine or don't agree with this thing and maybe support it for that. We obviously don't have the answers for that because that's up to the
a bigger question at large. I mean, yeah,
the individual.
Yeah, it's your own personal tolerance level, and some things. As much as I hate to admit this, sometimes I have picked up a game despite knowing, or read a book or watched a movie with people in it, despite knowing that there are problematic things on it, and
sure.
So it's not so much about supporting or not supporting that one particular person or that one particular aspect. Sometimes, yes, I put my line in the sand and say, I will not buy Borderlands 3 because Randy Pitchford
Right, this is too far. Yeah.
But then there's other times where it's like, I want to support this because it looks cool. It looks like it's something I want to do. And also, it's not the only person. Like, you can justify it any which way you need to do whatever you need to do. If it helps, everything I've ever heard about John Carmack has been nothing but, like, top of the barrel. Like, the guy seems genuinely amazing.
A weird but good guy.
Yes. Very much us of that age before we became that age.
Right. Well, and there's to me, there's also, like, it's one thing for, let's say, in a fictitious studio that the lead person of the studio has done something terrible for so long, but sort of in secret. And when the studio found out, they said, all right, we're drawing a line in the sand. They no longer work for us or with us. We do not condone this. This is unacceptable in no uncertain terms. It's like, all right, I feel like that has reconciled that situation. You know, that for me sort of smooths it over, but it's tough. I mean, it's really hard. It sometimes makes it better when you have a more direct connection to some of these people, like Ed McMillan on Twitter. Is like, you can ask him a question where it's like, hey man, how's Bumbo going? And he's like, oh, sorry, I forgot to talk about that. I just moved it over to another development team. They're working on it, but it's going to be delayed. It's like, oh, cool. I didn't think he'd respond to me, just regular person on the street.
Send him photos of your cats. He loves cats.
He loves them. But then sometimes you get the don't meet your hero moments where it's like, oh, that's not the take you can have right now.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, as much as what's going on in the world right now, I feel that a lot of places should be more open, and you should know a lot more about what's going on, even if it does bum you out, because if you don't know what's happening, it's probably going to continue to happen. It's not going to change until, somebody steps up, something else happens. I also didn't buy Borderlands 3 because Randy Pitchford's a douche. And I've been hearing, I had heard and read up that the working conditions for those studios is garbage.
Right.
And I've worked production jobs like 90% of my life, and those are garbage. You got people who are expecting you to work 60, 70 hours a week, 7 days a week. You're getting paid jack. You can't take vacation because they need you there. You call in sick one time, you're getting written up. So it's those aren't places that I want to support. You don't live to work. This is a job. You should be treated accordingly. And that's not going to change if nobody knows about it.
One of my favorite things lately has been Bungie has been really aggressive pushing back on crunch and saying, like, we don't crunch. And, like, you can talk to any of our staff members. We don't. Like, we're 40 hours, clock in, clock out. And however that affects our product, that's fine because we're investing in our people. And it's been really funny to watch gamers reply and be like, but, wait, that's what I wanted, but now I get less game, but that's good for people. But it's like, yes, that's okay.
Congratulations,
like,
you entitled person. Stop complaining.
Right, like, that's a good thing if employees aren't being worked into the ground just to get 2 more weapons in a game. Like, that's never okay.
Here's a random fun Randy Pitchford Borderlands thing, by the way. The original voice of Claptrap was a gentleman called David Eddings.
Yes.
Who is actually the cousin of David Eddings.
Oh,
who we talked
author?
about in the pre-show. So,
interesting.
Just so you know, that's a really stupid fun fact for you there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's tough. It is very, very tough.
Yeah, and I never meet your heroes, I guess, unless your heroes are all 3 of us, because pretty much we
ain't nobody's heroes.
No, we're not anybody's hero. But you get exactly what we are on the show. None of us are playing characters or anything. So,
except for that I swear a lot more than I do on the podcast. So
me too.
That's fair. Yeah, patreon.com/E1M1 for your outcast. Yeah.
Next, there's good and bad that goes with it. Like I said, it's just, it sucks to find out that this is happening in any industry or in anything in the world, but it's not going to change until we see it and we can rectify it.
And then the masses can say, like, this is not acceptable. Like, this is not okay. You need to address this somehow. And that's a good point.
I will play a Riot game when I get an up-to-date comprehensive report on what their current state of their company is like after everything that happened over at Riot in the last few years.
I'm impressed with both of them and Rockstar. Some stuff coming out both of those.
Because Hauser left. Come on, we all know that's because Hauser left.
That's a good benefit.
100% that's because Hauser's gone.
Stuff coming out of both of those studios is like, we are making material changes to these issues. They're going to take some time, but we're committed to making the changes, and then they actually do it, which is really great. Next email here is from Nick R. It says, hello, fellas, writing in about trophies/achievements. Oh,
hello.
Yeah, here we go. Hello there. A lot of people have been talking about Bloodborne again, like the Nimp. So I got the itch to get back into it. I was 1 trophy away from the platinum. It was the longest grind to get it. There are areas called Chalice Dungeons, and you have to go through at least 7 different ones. They also have different layers from 3 to 5 deep. Each layer has a boss from the main game that has to be beaten. Some of the dungeons are cursed, and you only have half of your health, so it's been grind for sure. Yikes. I can finally say that after 5 years, I got the platinum. One of the trophies I'm most proud I collected, so that got me wanting to get more. So I went and got the platinum for Dark Souls Remaster. Jeez. I've double plats for that game. I also got the platinum in MLB The Show 20. That's my first in baseball games. I love getting a non-physical item that cannot be held and means nothing in the end. Trophies and achievements can help me try and see the game at its full potential and play it different ways. I know this email will resonate with the group. Thanks for hearing me out. Nimp, if you need assistance with Bloodborne, hit me up.
I already have enough people trying to screw me over, Nick, but thank you.
Okay. Wait a minute. Yeah, I think we've talked about this probably for the entirety of the show, but yeah, when there's those set of trophies that are achievements that make you do cool, non-grindy stuff in the game to kind of see the entirety of the game, that feels really great.
Yeah, that and a good challenge one. Like, I love a good challenge achievement. Not a grindy one, Dead by Daylight, I'm looking at you. But a challenge
like 2 Point Hospitals, like, get all of the stars in the game.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Like
Batman Arkham Asylums get 3 stars in every combat encounter. That's a challenge.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a challenge.
I don't care enough about trophies or achievements.
Of
like, if
course
I really, really like a game, I'll do it. Like Spider-Man, I think may have been the last game that I platinumed.
Yeah.
That had some grindy trophies in it, but I really loved playing that game, so I didn't mind doing it. So.
Well, and the rough part, a lot of JRPGs have a platinum, but it's like, all right, this guide says it takes approximately 1,200 hours to do across 7 playthroughs. It's like, no.
And it's all RNG.
Yeah, exactly. It's all RNG, and they have a 0.01% chance to drop. Let's go. Yep. It's like,
why did I get the full 1K in Eternal Sonata? Someone remind me why I did that again.
Because that game is good.
Sucks.
the
game is good. The achievements suck.
The full 1K sucks, but like, the game is real good. Yeah, I don't know. I just for a game I really love, there's something about like capping it off with the platinum or the 1,000 gamer score, where it's like, all right, I've wrung every little bit of enjoyment I could out of that game, and now I'm done, and I kind of ended on a high note. Yeah.
I love Watch Call as well. I just love seeing my little stupid number go up. I hate the PlayStation levels. Let's get that out the way first and foremost.
Oh, the levels have got it. I wish levels would go with PS5. They don't mean anything. Like, it doesn't matter if you're level 17 and your friend is 15. Like, that, it just drives me nuts. Because like, people like try to do all the math where it's like, all right, 1 gold is worth 3 silvers, but it's worth 15 bronzes. It's like, oh God, who cares?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love the actual gamer score. I'm so close to 500,000. Like, it's unbelievable at this point. I'm like 15K away from 500,000.
Man,
maybe I should try and hold that
to
number.
Like 70,000.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Microsoft doesn't sell T-shirts or something. Like, that seems to be the big thing where it's like, all right, you got 500,000 gamer score, now you can go buy this T-shirt that has like your gamer tag on it and has like the date you got 500,000 on or something. Like, that'd be kind of cool.
Or do the Bungie pins thing.
Yeah, like, now you have your 500,000 pin.
My favorite one would be, this is your 500,000 pin, and it says the name of the last achievement you got on it. So
that'd be great.
Just so people would go for ridiculously hard ones to tick it over.
Right.
No, everyone would go for the dumb ones. Like, you'd see everyone with Airbender pins and
yes, that's right. Yeah.
To you, it was a Tuesday.
I would love a pin for some of the games that I've gotten trophies for, where they're less than a percentage. Those
like the Binding of Isaac pin.
Yep.
Like a lot of the JRPG ones that I have, I'm already getting into the territory with Bloodborne that a lot of the trophies I have are less than 30% now.
Oh, and nice.
I wouldn't even say I'm halfway through the game yet.
Yeah, you get into the drop-off point where people are like, "This is too hard. I'm not in for this."
So it's been a while since I actually looked at my top games on TA based on rarity. You know, what's the best game? NBA Live 15 is still number 1.
Obviously, yeah.
The game that took me 250 hours to actually get the full 1,000 in that.
Talk about RNG, right?
Ultimate Team. Below is number 2.
Wow. I don't think I would have expected that.
Minecraft is number 3.
Interesting. Okay.
But that's probably just because it's got like a 5,000 gamer score in it now, which would also explain why the Walking Dead collection is number 5. Right. Dead by Daylight is number 4.
Weird.
SSX, the remake, not the original, the remake with the dark shadowy mountains and stuff. Snake Pass.
Weird.
Descenders?
Okay.
Apparently I just play really difficult games for no reason.
I guess. Well, you like the challenge.
That's true.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't...
I probably will try to get all the achievements in Elite Dangerous.
Yeah,
I've already surpassed the point where I'm getting whole number percentages for that.
Right. There's now 0.5%.
Yeah.
I would only hit the base game for that, but the problem is the base game's got a ton of those stupid multiplayer ones in it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I don't want to play Capture the Flag. I want to play Capture the Planet.
Oh, you don't want to do Arena?
No.
I want to do any of that.
Not even slightly.
I want to get Elite and Arena just to say that I did it. That'll probably be the very last thing that I did.
There is a base game achievement, which is have Elite in everything, which includes Arena.
Yeah,
oh, boy.
I know. I'm getting there, though. I'm almost Elite in 2 fields now.
Yeah,
oh,
I think the actual achievement for having Elite in all 4 is Elite Dangerous, the achievement.
That's perfect. It couldn't be anything else.
No.
Yeah. All right, we've been recording for quite a while. Some people send us some questions in Discord. I'm gonna scooch those over to next week, and we'll save them for then. So that's our episode this week. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Ever to find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1 for all the cool. Sorry, the ones are numbers. All the cool behind-the-scenes early access. Critical Misses Season 1 is going on now. If you want to hear Nimp swear a lot, The Outcast is where that is. And catch up on our Arrowverse watching. I'm working on Dynamic Soundtrack Season 3. I promise it's coming at some point.
No, he's not. He's not. Don't believe
I
him.
really am. I've finished a couple episodes. I just need to write the scripts now.
There's a file saved that says Dynamic Soundtrack 3.
It's just a folder that's got nothing in it, yeah.
Yeah, it's got some cobwebs in there. Cobwebs.txt. So patreon.com/E1M1. Just 2 more weeks to go for the recap episode of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Gotta write that time.
Yeah, you best start playing that, dude.
God, yeah, I gotta find some way to do that.
It's longer than you think. Start it.
Yeah, I'm in trouble. I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Nimp, hit me with your titles.
All right. I have Safety Head. Dump a couch in a pool. True story. It's foundation wide. Share the load. Punches and kicks, please. Power up Rasputin. Shoot down the Almighty. I finally got stuff to say. And 5 pixels on your health bar.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
Get that ROI up. Probably not a real warning. Foundation wide. Then the game started. A little light mutiny. The best part of me.
A little light mutiny. I forgot about that. I have Get Out of Here, Future Ghost. I forgot about that.
How did I not write that down?
It's really good. I'm really feeling the bloodlust. Put check marks next to that one too. The Unnamed Game, Safety Head, Foundation Wide, and A Little Light Mutiny. I have a check mark next to Get Out of Here, Future Ghost, and I'm really feeling the bloodlust.
And for once, it wasn't Moon that said it.
Yeah.
I feel like both of those are really strong.
I think honestly for me it's between what was the first one you said?
Get Out of Here, Future Ghost.
That and A Little Light Mutiny are the two that I think Little Light Mutiny's got a nice flow to it.
Yeah, that one's good too. Nimp, what are you feeling?
Feeling bloodlust and A Little Light Mutiny.
It's a good
just to be
afternoon.
different. Yeah.
I feel like a little light mutiny is probably our winner then, because I feel like that's the one that's clicked with all three of us.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan. Don't get me wrong, I really like Get Out of Here, Future Ghosts, but I also like True Story, mostly because I just said it in the True Story voice.
Yeah, and the True Story
As
song
an
voice.
Englishman who didn't have any reference to that at all, I feel like I did a good pop culture absorption of that.
I had completely forgotten why I'd written it down until you mentioned that you said it in a voice. I'm like, that's right.
Right. You put the little note symbols next to it.
Yeah, I'm like, why did I write True Story?
Right. All right. Let me know whenever you guys are ready.
Kind of, yeah, sure, why not?
Apparently this is going to be a theme every other week.
I like that that's just the sound of an empty brain. It's like,
All right, yeah, let's go for it. See what happens.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 659 for June 8th, 2020. A little light mutiny.
Just a demotion.
It's a pirate's life for me.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Whether it's all you fine people in the chat or you're watching the archive. We appreciate it each and every week, and we hope we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Foghorn again.
And we can stop recording.